Chap, one of the great gifts of your teaching and lecturing and practice is how you bring together both 30 years of experience as a pastor and a youth minister and a trainer of youth ministers together with your years of academic study as a professional sociologist. Can you tell us how you've brought those together and what you think the fruit is?
Well, the beginning was more intuitive, that as I served young people and trained others to do that, my idea was to come alongside as to not just bring them to my stuff, but to actually provide some kind of environment where they're going to really be excited about who we are first, and then feel safer to explore who Christ is in the context of the communities that I was a part of. And so at first that kind of intuition and knowing young people and being with them a lot was kind of enough till I started doing more training and more thinking about it, more reflection myself. I realized that culture was changing, the dynamics of both what was happening in terms of who they are psychosocially, kind of internally, and who they express themselves to be sociologically with their friends and in their communities or various settings, what culture does to them, how the media is changing things. And then as the years wore on, it became a little more complicated to try to really come alongside of kids. So then I started kind of this academic study of asking the questions in my own ministry, in my own work, how do I understand more clearly what's going on inside a kid's mind, soul? Not that you can actually separate those too much, but Jesus does, so I'll feel free to actually go there. The various elements of that kid's life, and especially internally, I want to understand that so that I am not bumping into things that they're experiencing, so I'm not saying things that I define one way, they define it another, but truly being a witness to who Christ is and what the community's about. And Jesus did this. You know, in John chapter 4, when he goes into the well, the Samaritan woman, he sends his disciples, as you well know, his disciples off to go get food, and he goes to this well in the middle of the day. The woman's there. And it's a popular story. A lot of people have read it and seen it, but do we really understand what's going on? That Jesus made an intentional decision to break both protocol and probably legal requirements by initiating a conversation with a woman alone, and especially this kind of woman. He began by initiating this conversation of honoring her simply by starting to talk with her. And then he moved more and more into a conversation that was respectful and brought their stories together and allowed her to feel the safety of not only his presence, but what he thought of her. Clearly, that's what he was up to. And then when he finally entered her story by talking about her 5 husbands and the difficult times she'd gone through, he didn't do it in a way that was oppressive or painful or hurtful. He knew what was going on inside of her, which, of course, is the Lord of creation. He would know that. But it's a great lesson for me because every person I meet is a woman at the well. Every adult, every child, every teenager has a story, has a unique version of their own development and cultural experience. And so that's what I've been working on. How do I train youth workers? How do you look in a kid's eye and realize that there's a story there, there's more to it? That's why we bring social science to our work in youth ministry.